He tied other people's urine in the inner thigh, and injected other people's blood in the fake finger film dipped to his own fingers, because in the future world, genes become the only pass, and he was sentenced to death at birth. His body indicators are not qualified. The most fatal is a 99% chance of heart disease. The doctor said he could only live to 30 years old. After hearing this, his father immediately gave him another name. Sure enough, he was born nearsighted, weak and sick. Even the insurance company did not want to accept his policy. His parents decided to give him a brother with good genes through scientific means. At the age of 8, his brother was half a head taller than him at 10, which hit him hard inside. So he tried to beat his brother with his best swimming skill. But he was still the one who lost. He could only be a janitor when he grew up because the first hurdle in the interview was genetic testing. But the last time he competed with his brother in swimming, he unexpectedly won. It turns out that he is no different from a normal person. And finally tore up the family photo and left home. He always dreamed of being an astronaut, but due to his congenital genetic defect, he could only work here as a janitor. Every time he saw a rocket lift off, he felt an overwhelming feeling inside. He was resigned to the fact that he was so good. Why couldn't he do it? So he found a black market boss through a special channel to help him find a genetically superior double. It is this guy with melancholy eyes. He not only has a heart as strong as an ox, but also has an amazingly high IQ, eyesight beyond the ordinary, and an expected life expectancy of almost immortality. As long as you have his genes, you will not be rejected anywhere you want to go. Since the car accident happened abroad, his lower body paralysis was not recorded at all, so it was perfect to use him as a double. One of the most obvious characteristics of the disadvantaged born is myopia. In order to avoid being found scars, so you cannot operate, you can only choose to wear contact lenses. And then trim the hair. It does not look very different from Jerome. But this is far from enough. The biggest problem is the height. His height is only 1.73 meters, while Jerome's height is 1.85 meters. Even with the internal height increase cannot be achieved. The only way to increase his height is by breaking his bones. In order to grow 12 centimeters taller, he chose to break his bones to increase his height. During the convalescence period, he tried his best to learn knowledge so that he could become an astronaut. But he didn't expect to pass the interview with a single P, something that he couldn't achieve with his poor genes. Although he succeeded in joining the space company, he had to be careful every day. Before going to work, he has to shave his body hair and skin flakes to minimize the fall of the bad genes. Then he tied other people's urine to his thighs, injected other people's blood in the fake paper film, and finally glued it to his fingers. And Jerome collects a lot of dander every day, and frantically store urine and blood for the main man to go to work to make money. With Jerome's identity, he rose through the ranks of the space company. Only one mission director had nearly discovered his true identity. Miraculously, the director was suddenly killed. This made his identity more risky to be exposed, and the police soon became involved in the investigation. It was determined that the killer could only be someone from the company, so they used the equipment to start collecting clues in the office. The hero accidentally left an eyelash, which was sent to the laboratory for analysis. On the screen immediately appeared the information of the real identity, and the police officer responsible for the test is the hero's brother. It is understood that the hero worked here a few years ago as a janitor. Now his eyelashes appeared at the scene, naturally became the first suspect in the murder case. The police showed the boss a photo of the man, but the boss didn't even notice that this man was their excellent astronaut. The main man does not know that his identity has been exposed. His brother is standing behind him. His heart rate went haywire and he was almost recognized. But luckily he got away just in time. He drank a glass of water and then gave the glass to the cleaner. Back home to talk to his partner about it. He thought the play could not be acted out, will be stored urine and hair all dumped. Jerome was very angry, cursing the hero has no backbone, because now no one but himself would recognize who he really was. As the hero adjusts his mind and prepares to go out, Jerome looks out the window. It turns out that the hot girlfriend is waiting for the hero. Jerome wanders around alone and happens to run into the police. The police questioned his face. How can an astronaut be a cripple?
I hurt my leg training even more.
But on the other hand, the hero was not so lucky. The glass he drank from was taken to the police for testing, and his information was detected again from his saliva. The police found that the suspect had not yet left. At this time, the hero was taking his girlfriend home, but found that even his eyes had to be checked. The hero used his hand to squeeze out the contact lens when others were not paying attention. When the police check his identity, he will be able to pass smoothly. At this time his eyesight cannot even see the road. Facing the blurred car, the hero was scared to sweat. In order to prevent his girlfriend from discovering his defective eyesight, he had to cross the road. Back at the office, the police asked them to take blood tests, because the murderer is definitely among them. But this was not difficult for the hero. He waited for the doctor to insert the needle into the vein.
God damn!
He submits the prepared blood and the test results show without a doubt that it is Jerome. At night he and his girlfriend were dancing when the police came for a raid to check their wigs, glasses, and dentures. The hero heard and ran with his girlfriend, but met a police officer at the back door. Without saying a word, the police officer was knocked out with a combination of punches. His brother, who was a police detective, immediately chased after him. Seeing the beaten cop, the brother couldn't stand it anymore. The next day at work, his girlfriend found that the police came to the company again to investigate, immediately informed the main man. The police detective found that only Jerome did not arrive, so they asked her to lead the way to the hero's home. The main man hiding outside immediately called Jerome to inform him that he had to pretend to be a normal person before the police arrived home, so he jumped out of the wheelchair. By now the police had arrived at the door. He was also tired. In order not to be suspected, he opened the door with great difficulty, and then continued to crawl to the sofa, then lift the left leg on the right leg, and finally wipe the sweat off his face and fix his hair. He waited for the police to come in just in time. In order to fool the police, Jerome even let her give him a kiss. When the police couldn't find anything different and were ready to check the basement, they received the news that they had caught the murderer and then left. The police detective was very relieved to know that the murderer was not his brother. Finally, the two brothers met, and they were just like back then, so they had a swimming race again. The speed of the two is equal. But halfway through the swim, the detective reminded him that if he continues to swim, both may drown. The reason why the hero is strong is because he does everything alone, never give himself a way out. It's almost time for the hero to fly into the sky. Jerome sealed the laboratory and left the hero a lifetime of urine and blood. Because the hero went to spaceflight, he also had to travel. Finally came to the day of the rocket launch. He did not expect to have to check today, but he did not bring a urine belt, can only provide his own examination. The test results are also his true identity. But the doctor helped him to adjust to Jerome's, and actually let him pass. In fact, the doctor knew from the beginning that the main man was pretending, because right-handed people do not use their left hand to hold the hose. He is the same as the hero. Never think that the slightest difference in genes. The people who work hard should not be buried. If the ideal is still stirring in your chest, why not go and fight for it?